Hey everyone, on July 3rd, we went to Antonito, Colorado to talk with Staffy Pappas, the Director of Special Projects at the Cumbres Toltec Scenic Railroad. Among the cool things that we saw were the restoration of Snowplow OY, which is going to be running the first part of 2020 as part of the Cumbres Toltec's 50th anniversary celebration. We also saw Locomotive 168, which is in its final stages of renovation. We saw 2 new passenger cars being built, and we also saw late 19th century heritage cars being restored. Let's check it out.
Preme Carbodies, yeah. And so for our daily driver coach fleet, one thing that happened when the states purchased the railroad that became the Cumbres Toltec in 1970, we did not get any historic passenger cars other than a couple chicken coops that had been downgraded into work train service. And so for the first basically about 10 years, passengers rode in converted boxcars, and we call them the P boxes, the passenger boxes. We have a few of those around still. And then starting in, I believe it was 1979, these cars, like the Bighorn, the 503 here, were built on 6500 flat car series frames. And they don't really encapsulate the look and feel of a historic passenger car particularly well, but they were a major step up from the P boxes. And then moving forward, the design for the clear story style coaches was developed in the early 1980s, and those cars, as well as these, are built on the center sills and bolsters of standard gauge box and flat cars. And so this is the design that our normal fleet is. These premium car bodies are built to the same drawings from the early 1980s that the rest of those clear story cars are built to. One of the things that I find most interesting is, so we were not blessed with having historic cars to be our daily driver, passenger car fleet, so we had to build basically these, almost from scratch. But there is a benefit to that. Now we have a fleet of coaches that are very robust with steel framing and steel undersills, and they function really well. They are incredibly durable, and for daily driver passenger car fleet, even though it has taken decades to build up to this point, we really have something that's what you want for your daily service. Car project occurs. This is Railway Post Office / baggage car 65, built by the Denver and Rio Grande itself in 1887. And then the next car over here is Phil Byron's small 1876 built Coach 256. So this was originally the Levita, built in 1876 for the Grand. And so this car here is the oldest one in the historic car project that we have. The next oldest will be Pig Car F, which was built as Horton Chair Car 24 in 1878. You can see that we're saving as much original material as we possibly can so that they don't become a replica. This car here will probably have about 40 to 50% original fabric in it when done. The RPO baggage car will have a little bit less, and then Coach 292, which is complete and we have stored in the other building right now, that one is actually about 75% original material. Wow. So this is museum quality restoration that we're doing here, or rehabilitation, I should say. What's really valuable, at least to my way of thinking about this, is that When it's done, this will be on the railroad that it was built for, and it will operate in basically weekly service on the railroad it was built for in the 1870s and 1880s. We're not just rehabilitating these cars so that people can come and look at them. They're going to go out there and run on the railroad that they were built for, and we have a business model that is sustainable to be able to keep these in service, and hopefully 75 years from now, everybody can come and ride this train.
Still ride it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and it's sustainable. We provide stewardship and sustainability for the artifacts, whereas if it's something that, okay, you did a beautiful job and then you put it on a plinth and you let it get snowed on every winter, well, with these wooden cars, it's kind of like a wooden boat. You have a very limited time frame before it's going to need all this work all over again.
So this one is finished.
Exactly. Other than the passenger car trucks, which are currently being built. This is what they look like when they're done.
This is just amazing.
Thank you. So you can see the alternating white oak and black walnut on the sides.
Yeah.
So in reading some of the historic sources on wooden passenger car building, the letterboard on the outside went away. You had a small upper window and a larger lower window. This car, because it was done early, missed those upgrades. So this car looks a lot more 1880s than the other cars resemble their build date. And that's sort of, just an artifact of, for whatever reason, this car went in early and then didn't receive any more upgrades other than just upkeep and maintenance. We had to have the Denver and Rio Grande coal hod, and then, of course, Monte Vista, Colorado, an appropriate coal shovel to go with it. Now, I have declared this to be an absolute no-fire zone. So the stoves, you cannot open. They're bolted shut. And the kerosene lamps, even though there's everything in them to be able to burn them other than the wicks, they are electrified with a little LED shining down into the smoke belt. Then we have an inverter and a battery that we can use. And that way we do not endanger this artifact any more than we have to. Well, we'll be running it on the 315 charter on the 3rd of August. Buy a ticket. And this is another project where the Friends and the railroad are partnering together to make this happen. The Friends are doing the woodwork, and so right now they're building new windows and doors because the old ones were basically falling apart. And then we will be doing the mechanical and boiler work here as soon as they're done with that. So this is an Alco-built rotary snowplow, and basically is about as original as they kind of get.
And you guys are going to try to run this next winter, huh?
Yeah, so we'll be running this. We have an event on the 29th of February and the 1st of March, 2-day event. And so, you can see that we have the temporary plywood over the windows and doors for protection, and they're building the new windows and doors. We also are going to be putting on a new roof, a new soldered seam tin roof, which will be basically about a 100-year solution. The existing roof has failed, and that's what's contributing to car body deterioration. So we received a grant from the Near Gauge Preservation Foundation to help us with that effort, to be able to protect the woodwork so that it can live on, and then we will be doing the mechanical work shortly. Like I say, if this thing has 90 days of service on it since it was built in 1923, I'd be very surprised. So as such, we are very fortunate. There really isn't a whole heck of a lot of work that really needs to be done to make it operable.
Just cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, a lot of cosmetic stuff, and then of course, doing the boiler inspection, etc. We have still done our due diligence to be able to ultrasound and run some engineering on what it is that we actually have here and make sure that it is indeed safe and suitable for service. And amazingly, this pressure vessel is at basically blueprint spec for thickness. So firebox, shell, etc. This thing is in incredibly good shape. And again, so few days of service, it's been stored dry all the time, and that makes all the difference. Jacket is in process right now. So we made the cardboard templates, and I just delivered them day before yesterday to Ecodynamics, which is a shop over in Monte Vista, and they're going to be doing the burnout work on the polished stainless steel 20-gauge jacketing. So our jacket is being made to the Baldwin standards with riveted seams, hook seams, clamps, etc. And then it will be blued like a fine firearm to imitate American iron, which was the typical jacketing material in the United States during our period of significance for this locomotive, which is about 1916. So the black oxide process that we will be going through with this jacketing will make a finish that is chemically about the same, but we're doing it on stainless steel. And what's good about the stainless is it will be far more durable than carbon steel.
So how much more work do you have to do?
Well, we need to get the jacket on it, then we need to mount the appliances, like the air compressor, and do a little more plumbing. The air system plumbing and brake system plumbing needs to be done, but that's one of those things. At this point, there's no reason to get more plumbing on it until we have the jacketing on it.
Right.
And so as soon as the jacketing is done, we can mount the cab, we can put all the appliances on it. And then at that point, it's a running locomotive. So the running gear is done at this point. The locomotive has been timed. It would run right now.
Right.
But there's just no reason to fire it up and run it around without jacketing or cab on it. I mean, it might be kind of fun, but you know, it's kind of a waste of time and money to do it.
Exactly, yeah. When do you think you'll have it running?
It'll be operable before the end of the season. We won't be doing our unveiling until probably opening day of 2020, when we will unveil the locomotive and the historic consist that goes behind it. And all the windows and doors are done as well. We just haven't put them in yet because, you know, when you install the cab, it's better not to have a bunch of fragile.